In my book, uh, Purpose, Passion, and Love, The Heart of a Man, it's a piece in there called Poetic Justice Sufferer. And in that piece, it's a couple of lines, and it go, on spiritual journeys I embark, along with speaking that I walk. There are no testimonies if it's just talk, and there are no victories if no wars have been fought. Today, we're going to talk about some of the wars. Y'all, welcome to Purpose, Passion, and Love TV, episode number 3. Episode number 3. At Purpose, Passion, and Love TV, we this is where we talk about the journey to knowing thyself and the journey of purpose. That little piece that I just recited, uh, when we left off the last time, I told y'all I was gonna get into some of the more specific challenges that came from operating in life outside of oneself. And when I say oneself, I'm talking about that self. If you go back to when you was 7, 8 years old, or pre-contamination, when you first thinking about the world and you thinking about yourself and some of the things that you want to do. I'm talking about that dude or that young lady. And so what I have come to find out is that really in all of our struggles, you know, and I'm gonna take note to exclude, because everybody ain't going through this. Maybe on some level you are, but you know, to the credit of how you was raised, who you was raised around, maybe just a will to hold on to that self um through life as you are growing up. Everybody ain't fighting this struggle, but I can tell you that it's a more common struggle than most people will admit to. So what I found out in mine is that once you stray away from that person, really the struggles and everything that you go through is designed to get you back to being that person, so that the Lord can bless you with the life that was promised. And so, you know, for me, what that looked like, and as we get deeper and deeper into this, the more we go on, the harder it is to talk. I had a whole bunch of trouble getting here today, not because, you know, a flat tire or it rained on me or something happened in the house. It wasn't nothing. It didn't have nothing to do with none of that stuff. It was the fact that, you know, the deeper we go, the harder it is to get this stuff out. And I think that part of it is because you got to be careful. You know, when you living in and doing certain situations. If I'm real specific about what I'm going through and what I'm saying, then people around that know me and know a little bit about things that you've been struggling with, it's easy for them to piece things together. And, you know, even though this is done um, with good things in mind, with inspiration in mind, with hopefully keeping certain people from certain struggles in mind, with motivation and that kind of thing in mind, even though it's done with that in mind, you still got to be careful, and you still got to be respectful of people's lives, because it's easy for people to add 2 plus 2 and put them together. And, oh, he talking about. So we don't want to do that. We want to keep this thing inspirational and motivational, and hopefully, you know, it's leading to somebody coming out of their own struggle to themselves, especially when you don't really know what the struggle is. You just know things ain't right. It don't feel right. Um, you know, but you don't really know what it's for or where you're going. So hopefully we can identify some of that stuff. So let me tell you what I found out just dealing with some of the stuff that I've been through. It's going to get harder and harder, maybe not to discern these people, but to walk away from these people when you do discern them. The further you get away from yourself, because you get weaker. And if you think about that, it makes perfect sense that you get weaker the further away you get from the person that God created you to be. And so you run into people that are in agreement with you in your face. You might be laying down with them. You might be sharing some of your deepest thoughts with them. But when they leave you, they speak against you. They curse you in terms of if you shared a particular goal with them or something that you're struggling with, that you're trying to get out of or put down or change. They'll talk about how you ain't gonna never do it or you don't never do it. And even if we don't realize it, even if we don't know that they are saying that, doing those things, that becomes part of what you are struggling against to win. Because spiritual laws work both ways. They work negatively and positively. So when it's spoken and it's put out into the air, the more that it's put out, the more that that person is going around saying those things or doing those things, the harder it becomes for you in your struggle. And you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know what's going on. That's why it's really important to watch who's around you and what you say to people. But you run into people like that. You find yourself in jobs. You find yourself in jobs and in situations where you may not be able to keep a job and it looked like the perfect job. The money is great. The benefits is great. And you go through a cycle and it make you look crazy. I keep looking around because there's some kids back here hitting this baseball. Y'all can see one of them. I don't want that baseball to crack me in the back of the head. But you look at situations and it make you look like you don't know what you're doing, but even though all of that looks good, it really ain't where you're supposed to be. And so not only do it get hard to decipher people and discern people, it gets hard to discern situations. You might end up in a situation where you think you're doing something good. Maybe you volunteering your time somewhere. Maybe you helping somebody do something, and on the surface that's good. But if it ain't meant for you, then you creating a different type of struggle for yourself. So we the company you keep, sometimes the employment journey that you go on, sometimes it becomes a whole life journey that you go on that you don't realize wasn't even yours until you get out of it or something come crashing down. And a lot of times that's the case in relationships, not just a male female or love relationship, so to speak, but just in relationships with people, period. Once the truth finally come out, boy, these jokers are scaring me with this baseball. uh once the truth once the truth once the truth hit, you realize, man, I shouldn't even been in that in the first place. And so you got it's very important that we realize, number one, while we raising our kids, that I'm gonna keep this in here. I don't know how loud they're gonna talk, but I ain't cutting nothing. Um Once you realize that you wasn't supposed to be there, then you start to see yourself again. Um and the reason that that's dangerous is, believe it or not, God do got a plan for you. But it's all about being able to stay and be connected to that person. Now, when we say that, that don't mean that plan, just because it's God plan, it don't mean that it's all roses. I don't know if y'all ever, how many of y'all are readers out there, but if you ever want to kind of get a real clear understanding of kind of what I'm saying, if you go pick up a book called The Alchemist, um, the author Paulo, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name, but it's called The Alchemist, and you'll see how that young man almost traveled the world to wind up right where he was in the first place internally. And that's really what this journey to self is about, to knowing thyself and discovering that your purpose, and then being able to walk in that purpose. Those are some of the wars that come about, from when you embark on that journey, when you embark on that spiritual journey. Um, it come with some stuff. It come with some stuff, and I'm speaking from a person that within the last day or two have just realized that there's been something that's a part of me that I have been holding close to me that it's time for me to put down. Um, and I'm gonna tell y'all what that is in the next video. We got to hold something for. We got to be a little suspenseful here. But I just realized, and it's been told to me before. And when I say told to me, I ain't talking about from no person. I'm talking about from a spiritual level. On the inside, I know that I have heard before, yo, it's time for you to chill out with this right here. You got to chill out with this right here. And you can't go no further on this journey until you chill out with this right here. So I ain't, like I said, I think I might have mentioned it in the first video. I ain't coming to you from no high horse. A lot of this stuff is still a work in progress with me. As you probably can look at me and tell that it's still a work in progress. So again, welcome to the channel, Purpose, Passion, and Love TV. A link to the book, which is available on Amazon by the same title, Purpose, Passion, and Love, The Heart of the Man. That link will be in the description. Like this video, leave me a little comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as I get closer and closer to realizing this victory, I'm going to get a little bit more detailed and more detailed and more detailed. But, like I told you at the beginning of this video, just sitting around thinking about how I'm going to keep this authentic and what that's going to require of me. It's tough, but guess what? We're going to be here. We're going to be here. Purpose, Passion, and Love TV. Love y'all. Peace.